Did you know that right now, as you're watching this video, your bones are literally dissolving? Every single day, microscopic amounts of bone tissue break down inside your body. And for millions of people over 50, this breakdown is happening faster than their bodies can rebuild. It's like watching a beautiful cathedral slowly crumble, one tiny piece at a time, until one day you realize the foundation itself is at risk. What I'm about to share with you today has been hidden in plain sight for thousands of years. It's an ancient practice that modern science has finally validated, and it could be the key to not just stopping bone loss, but actually reversing it. The results I've seen in my practice have been so remarkable that I had to share this with you. I'm Dr. Fernando Manocchi, and I've spent over 15 years as a cardiac surgeon, working inside operating rooms, where I've seen firsthand how the strength of our bones affects every aspect of our health. When bones become weak, it's not just about the risk of fractures. Weak bones can affect your heart health, your balance, your confidence, and ultimately your independence. But here's what the medical community has been getting wrong about bone health. We've been so focused on calcium supplements and medications that we've completely overlooked something our ancestors knew instinctively. Something so simple, so natural, that it almost seems too good to be true. Let me paint you a picture of what's really happening inside your bones right now. Think of your skeleton as a bustling construction site that never stops working. There are two crews working around the clock. The demolition crew, called osteoclasts, breaks down old worn-out bone tissue. The construction crew, called osteoblasts, builds fresh, strong bone to replace it. When we're young, these crews work in perfect harmony. The construction crew works a little faster, so we keep building stronger bones until about age 30. But somewhere around our 5th decade of life, something changes. The demolition crew starts working overtime, while the construction crew begins to slow down. It's like having a crew that tears down 3 rooms of your house every day, but only rebuilds 2. Day after day, week after week, your bone structure becomes weaker, more fragile, more vulnerable. The medical establishment tells us this is inevitable. They say it's just part of aging. They hand us calcium pills and tell us to drink more milk. Some are prescribed medications that can have serious side effects. But what if I told you there's another way? What if the solution isn't about adding more calcium to your diet, but about helping your body use the calcium it already has more effectively? The statistics are sobering. Every year in the United States alone, over 2 million bone fractures occur due to osteoporosis. That's 1 fracture every 15 seconds. The cost to our healthcare system is staggering, but the cost to individual lives is immeasurable. I've seen patients lose their independence, their confidence, their joy in life, all because of a fracture that seemed to come out of nowhere. But here's what really concerns me as a physician. The current approach to bone health is missing something crucial. We treat bones as if they're isolated from the rest of the body, when in reality, bone health is intimately connected to every system in your body. Your cardiovascular health, your immune system, your hormones, your muscles, they all play a role in keeping your bones strong. I remember a patient I'll call Margaret. She was 72, active, independent, took her calcium supplements religiously. She did everything her doctor told her to do. But when she slipped on a wet bathroom floor, what should have been a minor fall resulted in a devastating hip fracture. As she lay in that hospital bed, she looked at me and said, "Doctor, I did everything right. How did this happen?" That question haunted me. It sent me on a journey to understand what we've been missing about bone health. And what I discovered changed not just how I practice medicine, but how I think about aging itself. The answer came from an unexpected source. While researching traditional healing practices, I stumbled upon studies about ancient civilizations that had remarkably strong bones well into old age. These weren't people with access to calcium supplements or modern medicine. They didn't have milk delivered to their doors or take prescription medications. Yet archaeological evidence shows they had bone density that would be considered exceptional even by today's standards. What did they have that we don't? What did they know that we've forgotten? The answer lies in something called mechanical stress, but not the kind of stress that keeps you awake at night. This is the gentle, rhythmic pressure that tells your bones they need to stay strong. You see, bones are living tissues that respond to the demands placed on them. When we challenge our bones in the right way, they respond by becoming denser, stronger, more resilient. Our ancestors didn't sit in chairs for 8 hours a day. They didn't have elevators or cars or remote controls. Their daily lives provided constant, gentle challenges to their skeletal system. They walked on uneven ground, carried water from wells, climbed hills, and performed physical tasks that required their bones to adapt and strengthen. But here's the fascinating part. Recent research has shown that it doesn't take hours of strenuous exercise to stimulate bone growth. In fact, the most effective bone-building activities are often brief, gentle, and can be done by anyone, regardless of their current fitness level. The ancient secret I'm talking about isn't really a secret at all. It's been hiding in plain sight in cultures around the world. From the Tai Chi practitioners of China to the yoga masters of India, from the traditional dances of Africa to the daily rituals of indigenous communities everywhere, humans have always known that gentle, purposeful movement is the key to lifelong bone health. But modern science has taken this ancient wisdom and refined it into something even more powerful. We now understand exactly which types of movement stimulate bone growth most effectively. We know how long these activities need to be performed and how often. We understand the precise mechanisms by which gentle pressure transforms into strong, dense bone tissue. Let me explain how this works in terms anyone can understand. Imagine your bones are like a sponge, but instead of absorbing water, they absorb the forces and pressures of daily life. When you place gentle pressure on a bone, tiny electrical signals are generated within the bone tissue. These signals are like a wake-up call to your osteoblasts, the construction crew I mentioned earlier. They essentially tell these cells, we need more strength here, build more bone. This process is called Wolff's Law, named after the German anatomist who first described it. It states that bones adapt to the forces placed upon them. Use them, and they grow stronger. Don't use them, and they gradually weaken. It's that simple, and it's that profound. But here's where most people go wrong. They think they need to lift heavy weights or run marathons to stimulate bone growth. That's not only unnecessary, it can actually be counterproductive, especially for people over 50. The key is understanding that bones respond best to varied, gentle pressure, applied consistently over time. Think of it like tending a garden. You don't need to flood your plants with water once a week. Instead, you provide them with the right amount of moisture every day. Your bones work the same way. They need consistent, gentle stimulation to stay healthy and strong. The ancient practice I'm referring to involves specific movements that have been refined over thousands of years. These aren't random exercises or the latest fitness fad. These are time-tested techniques that work with your body's natural healing mechanisms to restore bone density and strength. One of the most powerful aspects of this approach is that it addresses not just bone density, but all the factors that contribute to bone health. Balance, coordination, muscle strength, flexibility, and even mental well-being all play crucial roles in preventing fractures and maintaining independence as we age. I've seen patients in their 70s and 80s who thought their bone loss was irreversible discover that their bodies still had the remarkable ability to build new, strong bone tissue. The key was giving their bones the right kind of stimulation in the right way. Let me share with you the story of another patient, Robert, who came to see me at age 68. His bone density scan showed significant osteoporosis, and he'd already had one compression fracture in his spine. He was scared to do anything physical, afraid that any movement might cause another fracture. His world was becoming smaller and smaller as fear took over. But when Robert learned about this ancient approach to bone health, something changed. He started with the gentlest possible movements, barely noticeable to an outside observer, but within weeks he reported feeling more stable on his feet. Within months, his confidence was returning. And when we repeated his bone density scan after a year, the results were remarkable. Not only had his bone loss stopped, but in several areas, his bone density had actually improved. The beauty of this approach is its simplicity. You don't need expensive equipment or gym memberships. You don't need to change your entire lifestyle or follow complicated protocols. The movements can be done in the comfort of your own home, in as little as 10 to 15 minutes a day. But before I share the specific techniques with you, I need to address something important. This isn't about replacing medical care or stopping any treatments your doctor has prescribed. If you're currently taking medication for osteoporosis or bone health, please don't make any changes without consulting with your healthcare provider. What I'm sharing with you today is meant to work alongside, not replace, appropriate medical care. The foundation of this ancient approach rests on 3 fundamental principles. First, consistency is more important than intensity. Your bones don't respond well to sporadic, intense stimulation. They respond to gentle, regular pressure applied day after day. Think of it like learning a language. You make more progress with 15 minutes of practice every day than with 3 hours of study once a week. Second, variety is crucial. Your bones have hundreds of different stress points, and they all need to be activated to maintain optimal strength. This is why the ancient practices incorporated movement in multiple directions, at different speeds, and with varying degrees of intensity. Third, progression must be gradual. Your bones need time to adapt and strengthen. Pushing too hard, too fast, can actually be counterproductive and potentially harmful. The ancient masters understood this instinctively. They knew that patience and persistence would always triumph over force and haste. Now let me walk you through the core elements of this bone strengthening approach. The first component focuses on what I call gravitational loading. This simply means using your body weight to provide gentle pressure to your bones. One of the most effective ways to do this is through modified standing exercises. Start by simply standing with your feet hip-width apart. Place your hands on your hips and gently shift your weight from one foot to the other. Hold for a count of 5, then shift to the other side. This simple movement sends signals throughout your skeletal system, telling your bones that they need to maintain their strength. As you become more comfortable with this basic movement, you can add gentle variations. Try lifting one foot slightly off the ground for a few seconds, then switching to the other foot. This challenges your balance and provides additional stimulus to the bones in your legs, hips, and spine. The second component involves what ancient practitioners called flowing resistance. This means moving your body through space in slow, controlled motions that create gentle resistance against gravity and your own body weight. Think of the graceful movements of Tai Chi or the flowing poses of yoga. These aren't just beautiful to watch, they're incredibly effective at stimulating bone growth. One particularly effective movement involves standing with your arms at your sides, then slowly raising them out to the sides and overhead, as if you're conducting a very slow orchestra. The key is to move slowly enough that you feel a gentle resistance in your muscles and joints. This resistance translates into the kind of pressure that tells your bones to stay strong. The third component addresses spinal health specifically. Your spine is made up of 24 vertebrae, each one capable of becoming stronger or weaker depending on how you use it. Gentle spinal movements, performed slowly and mindfully, can help maintain and even improve the density of these crucial bones. A simple but effective spinal exercise involves standing with your back against a wall, then slowly sliding down a few inches while keeping your back flat against the wall. Hold this position for 10 to 15 seconds, then slowly return to standing. This movement provides gentle compression to your spinal vertebrae while strengthening the muscles that support your spine. But here's something that might surprise you. The effectiveness of these movements isn't just about the physical pressure they create. There's a mental component that's equally important. When you move slowly and mindfully, paying attention to how your body feels and responds, you're actually enhancing the bone-building process. Research has shown that the mind-body connection plays a crucial role in bone health. When you focus your attention on the movements you're performing, you're enhancing the electrical signals that stimulate bone growth. It's as if your conscious attention amplifies the bone-building message. This is why ancient practices always emphasized mindfulness alongside movement. It wasn't just about going through the motions. It was about being fully present and engaged with your body during the process. This mental engagement turns simple exercises into powerful bone-building tools. Another crucial aspect of this approach involves understanding the role of impact. But not the kind of high-impact exercise that might come to mind. I'm talking about gentle, controlled impact that you can create by simply stepping with purpose or performing modified heel drops. A heel drop is as simple as it sounds. Stand with your toes on a small step or sturdy book with your heels hanging off the edge. Slowly lower your heels below the level of your toes, then gently lift back up to the starting position. The gentle impact of this movement sends beneficial signals through the bones of your feet, legs, and spine. For those who find even this too challenging, you can achieve similar benefits by simply standing on your toes for a few seconds, then gently lowering back down to flat feet. The key is the gentle impact that occurs when your heels touch the ground. This tiny impact is enough to stimulate bone-building activity without risking injury. Nutrition also plays a supporting role in this ancient approach to bone health. But it's not just about calcium, as many people assume. Your bones need a complex array of nutrients to build and maintain strength. Magnesium, vitamin D, vitamin K, and trace minerals all play crucial roles in bone metabolism. Some of the most bone-friendly foods are also the most accessible. Leafy green vegetables like spinach and kale provide calcium in a highly absorbable form, along with vitamin K, which helps direct calcium to your bones rather than your arteries. Sesame seeds and tahini are incredibly rich in calcium, often containing more per serving than dairy products. Small fish eaten whole, like sardines and anchovies, provide not just calcium but also the cofactors needed to use that calcium effectively. If the idea of eating whole fish doesn't appeal to you, even canned salmon with the bones included provides excellent bone-building nutrition. But here's something most people don't realize. The timing of when you eat certain nutrients can affect how well they support bone health. Calcium is best absorbed when taken in smaller amounts throughout the day rather than all at once. This is why getting calcium from food sources, which naturally provide it in smaller, more frequent doses, is often more effective than taking large calcium supplements. Vitamin D deserves special mention because it's so crucial for bone health, yet so many people are deficient in it. While sunlight exposure is the most natural way to maintain adequate vitamin D levels, this can be challenging for people who live in northern climates or spend most of their time indoors. If you suspect you might be vitamin D deficient, it's worth discussing testing with your healthcare provider. The role of sleep in bone health is another aspect that ancient healing traditions understood long before modern science validated it. During deep sleep, your body produces growth hormone, which plays a crucial role in bone repair and regeneration. This is when your construction crew of osteoblasts does much of their most important work. Creating conditions for quality sleep can therefore be seen as part of your bone health strategy. This might involve establishing a regular bedtime routine, keeping your bedroom cool and dark, or practicing gentle relaxation techniques before bed. The ancient practice of gentle evening movements, designed to release tension and prepare the body for rest, can serve this dual purpose of promoting both sleep quality and bone health. Stress management is another component that ties directly to bone health. Chronic stress leads to elevated cortisol levels, and cortisol is one of the most potent inhibitors of bone formation. It's like having a constantly activated demolition crew with a construction crew that's been put on permanent vacation. The gentle, mindful movements I've been describing naturally activate your body's relaxation response, helping to counteract the bone-damaging effects of chronic stress. This is yet another way that ancient wisdom proves to be remarkably sophisticated in its understanding of how the body works as an integrated whole. Now, let me give you a practical framework for implementing this approach in your daily life. Start with just 5 to 10 minutes each morning. This could be as simple as the weight-shifting exercise I described earlier, followed by some gentle arm movements and a few modified heel drops. The key is to start where you are, not where you think you should be. If standing for 10 minutes feels challenging, start with 5 minutes, or even 2 minutes. Your bones will respond to any positive stimulus you provide, and consistency is far more important than intensity. As you become more comfortable with basic movements, you can gradually add variety and duration. Perhaps after a week of morning movements, you add a brief evening session. Maybe after a month, you incorporate some gentle resistance exercises using your own body weight. Listen to your body throughout this process. The movements should feel good, never painful. You might feel a gentle fatigue in your muscles, which is normal and beneficial. But sharp pains, persistent soreness, or any symptoms that concern you should be discussed with your healthcare provider. Keep a simple log of your daily movements. This doesn't need to be complicated, just a check mark on a calendar can be sufficient. This visual record of your consistency will be motivating and will help you see patterns in how you feel on days when you move versus days when you don't. Consider this a gradual lifestyle shift rather than a temporary intervention. The ancient practitioners I've studied didn't think of bone-strengthening movements as separate from their daily lives. These activities were woven into their regular routines, becoming as natural as breathing or eating. You might find opportunities to incorporate bone-friendly movements throughout your day. Take the stairs instead of the elevator when possible. Stand and do some gentle movements during television commercial breaks. Practice your balance while brushing your teeth. These micro-sessions of movement can be just as valuable as dedicated exercise time. The social aspect of movement shouldn't be overlooked either. Ancient communities often practiced healing movements together, providing both motivation and support. Consider finding a friend or family member who might be interested in exploring this approach with you. Having a movement partner can make the practice more enjoyable and more sustainable. If you have grandchildren or younger family members, they might be delighted to join you in gentle movement sessions. This not only provides you with company, but also plants seeds of healthy movement habits in the next generation. It's a gift that keeps giving across generations. Remember that everyone's body is different, and everyone's needs are different. What works perfectly for one person might need to be modified for another. Age, current fitness level, existing health conditions, and personal preferences all play a role in determining the best approach for each individual. This is why working with healthcare providers who understand both conventional medicine and lifestyle approaches can be so valuable. They can help you navigate any potential interactions between this movement approach and other treatments you might be receiving. Some people see improvements in how they feel within days or weeks of starting gentle bone-strengthening movements. Others might not notice significant changes for several months. This variation is completely normal and doesn't indicate that the approach isn't working. Bone remodeling is a slow process that happens over months and years, not days and weeks. However, many people do notice improvements in balance, confidence, and general well-being relatively quickly. These changes, while not directly measurable like bone density, are often just as important for maintaining independence and quality of life as we age. The ripple effects of improved bone health extend far beyond just stronger bones. Better balance reduces fall risk. Improved confidence leads to more activity and social engagement. Reduced fear of fractures opens up possibilities for travel, recreation, and adventure that might have seemed too risky before. I've seen patients rediscover activities they thought they'd lost forever. Dancing, hiking, playing with grandchildren, traveling to new places, all became possible again when they no longer lived in fear of their bones betraying them. This brings me to one of the most important points I want to make. Your age doesn't disqualify you from building stronger bones. While it's true that we reach peak bone mass in our 30s and that bone loss accelerates after menopause, this doesn't mean the bone-building process shuts down completely. Your bones retain the ability to respond to appropriate stimulus throughout your entire life. I've worked with patients in their 80s who showed meaningful improvements in bone density, balance, and overall bone health. The key is providing the right kind of stimulus in the right way, consistently over time. This ancient approach to bone health offers hope where conventional wisdom suggests there is none. It provides a path forward that doesn't rely solely on medications or supplements, though it can certainly work alongside appropriate medical treatments. The movements I've described are just the beginning. As you become more comfortable with basic exercises, you can explore more advanced variations. Many communities offer classes specifically designed for seniors that incorporate these principles. Tai Chi, gentle yoga, and specialized balance classes all provide opportunities to learn and practice in a supportive group setting. Books, videos, and online resources can also provide guidance and inspiration. But remember that learning movement from written or video instruction has limitations. If possible, working with a qualified instructor, at least initially, can help ensure you're performing movements safely and effectively. The investment you make in your bone health today will pay dividends for years to come. Every day you practice these gentle movements, you're making a deposit in your future independence and quality of life. You're choosing to age actively, rather than passively accepting decline as inevitable. Your bones have supported you through every step of your life so far. They've carried you through childhood adventures, adult responsibilities, and countless memorable moments. Now it's time to support them in return, to give them the gentle care and attention they need to continue serving you well in the years ahead. The ancient secret to reversing bone loss isn't really a secret at all. It's a return to the natural movement patterns that kept our ancestors strong and healthy throughout their lives. It's a recognition that our bodies are designed for gentle, regular movement, and that this movement is not just beneficial, but essential for maintaining bone health. As you begin to incorporate these practices into your daily routine, remember that every small step matters. Every moment of mindful movement is contributing to your long-term bone health. Every day you choose to move is a day you're actively working against bone loss and toward greater strength and independence. The 28 days mentioned in the title isn't a magic number, but rather a time frame in which many people begin to notice improvements in how they feel, their balance, and their confidence. The real magic happens over months and years of consistent practice. as your bones gradually respond to the consistent, gentle stimulus you're providing. This journey toward better bone health is not about perfection. There will be days when you don't feel like moving, days when life gets in the way, days when motivation is low. That's completely normal and human. What matters is that you return to the practice, that you keep showing up for your bones and your health, one day at a time. The path to stronger bones is a marathon, not a sprint. It requires patience, consistency, and self-compassion. But the rewards, independence, confidence, freedom from fear, the ability to fully engage with life, are immeasurable. Your bones are waiting for your attention. They're ready to respond to the care and stimulus you provide. The ancient wisdom is there, validated by modern science, accessible to anyone willing to take that first gentle step. Start today. Start with one simple movement. Start with 5 minutes. Start where you are, with what you have, and let your bones surprise you with their remarkable ability to grow stronger, no matter what your age. Remember, this journey is yours to take at your own pace, in your own way, with the guidance and support of your healthcare team. Your bones have been with you for every moment of your life so far. Now it's time to ensure they'll be strong and healthy for every moment yet to come. If this information has been helpful to you, I encourage you to share it with someone you care about who might also benefit from learning about this ancient approach to bone health. Together, we can help more people discover that stronger bones and greater independence are possible at any age. Which of these gentle movements will you try first? I'd love to hear about your experience in the comments below. And if you found this information valuable, please consider subscribing to stay updated on more natural approaches to healthy aging. Your future self will thank you for every small step you take today towards stronger, healthier bones.